reputation as a teacher, but it's about the commitment, no, that I have for the subject and for my student. Kawawa naman hindi ako, kundi yung estudyante ko. At baka mamaya madrag yung pangalan ko na si Ma'am, kung saan online class, no, doon siya nagsisiesta. Tapos next week, asynchronous, offline pa rin kami. Napaka-irresponsible niya. So, if you're going to think that ahead of your mind, okay, you will realize that it's very important to really prioritize things, especially if it concerns about communicating. So what we're doing right now is really telling you the significance of communication. Okay, so and last but not least, no, to close
Only
our
two.
food for thought today, pasensya na kayo, medyo madami ha, kasi yung isa is good for last week, and then the other one is good for today. So, kaya yung ating food for thought minsan ay dalawa, minsan ay tatlo, kasi next week naman asynchronous tayo. Okay, nako, they still follow, children?
Yes
Yes,
po,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Okay. So last but not the least, meron tayong words galing sa isang writer kay Paulo Freire. Okay? Mr. What's that? Leonardo? Hindi pala to Mr. Miss Leonardo Alexandra. Miss Leonardo, what does Paulo
Only
Freire
Yes,
through
ma'am.
wants to share?
communication can human life hold meaning. Only through
It says
communication.
there that only through communication can human life hold meaning. I
Again?
think
Okay, sige.
sinasabi niya po doon na ayun, communication is the bridge ng
Only
life
through
because it
communication can
is the
human
way
life
that
hold.
one people can connect to another. You know.
Okay. Thank you, Miss, no? Only. There's the word only, no? Alam niyo ba, the saddest phrase in English is if only. Diba? If only I can bring the stars, no? I could have done that, no? To make you mine. Ang taray, no? Okay? If only I can turn back time. Diba? Sa kanta ng, ano yun? Ano ba? Kumanta yun? If only I can turn back. Basta, yun na yun. Aqua, 1990s, no? Okay? Only, hindi naman siya manungkot, no? Pero sinasabi dyan na specifically, through communication, can human life hold meaning, no? Kapag hindi tayo nakikipag-communicate, hindi natin marirealize yung real sense of our being. Kaya nga, we have to communicate heart to heart, not only by word of mouth. Okay, so those are things that we have to realize when we talk about communication. So for today, bakit tayo umabot sa ganyan? Kasi syempre, yung ating previews, no, okay, concept concerns about the creation of, what do you call this one? What was my assignment to you last time? Check ko nga ulit dito kung sino mga hindi nakapagpasa. Okay, so last time, or your secret number 1, okay, concerns about, yan, alright. So, answering the difference between conversation and communication. So in the business world, no, when you communicate, okay, you both experience conversation and communication, okay? So the difference between the two, when you converse with other people, definitely you talk, you speak, di ba? You connect, okay? But when you communicate, the depthness is there, all right? And you will also realize that although the two vary in spelling, they both starts with letter C and they both end with letter N. Meaning to say, okay, if we can, strike some sort of analogy here, although when one converse, okay, one has to still realize, no, that and even in a short conversation, okay, one should acknowledge the elements that are necessary for that conversation to be a certified communication. And that is honoring the presence of a sender, okay, the message, the receiver, and the receiver is definitely expected to provide a reply or a feedback, okay? Because without the feedback, without the presence of a feedback, okay, the communication may not be considered valid, okay? Kaya wag kayong magsasawa, no, na sabihin na marinig sa teacher na, okay, anyone who would like to answer? Any volunteer? Is there any clarification? Question everyone? Walang tanong? Okay, kung walang tanong, ibig sabihin daw nun ay well understood. Okay? Pero minsan kasi iba talaga, they prefer to be in silence because they just don't want to participate and they believe that their energy will be a wasted one. Okay? Ako talaga, ang mantra ko dyan, when someone is asking, okay, and you have the nerve, kahit walang nerve eh, the nerve ni Robio and Ma'am ni Robio, no? What I'm trying to say is, if you have the answer in your head and you feel that it ought to be shared, why keep it? Okay? to yourself. That is a very selfish decision, okay? Share it to the crowd, okay? Para it's not a wasted thought, okay? And in addition to that, no, there are a few individuals who really are afraid to share it through writing or even in speaking. May narinig yun ba nag-welding yung kapitbahay namin? Parang hindi niya alam na nag-online class ako talaga. To si kuya, sinabi ko na nga eh. Narinig nyo ba? Wala naman? Okay lang?
Hindi naman po, ma'am. Okay lang
Medyo
po.
Wala
onti
naman,
lang po,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Konti lang. Malakas pa rin yung boses ko, di ba? Okay naman, no?
Opo, ma'am.
Yes
Nababo
po,
ko sa
ma'am.
inyo, ma'am.
Alright, so as I was saying, ano nga ba sinasabi ko? Yan tuloy, si kuya talaga. Walang ginawa kayo mag-welding ng ano nila eh, ng kanilang, what you call this? Gate. Sige, pagbigyan na natin para sa ekonomiya ng gate nila, okay? So as I was saying, meron talagang iba who really prefer not to participate kasi nga, nahihiya sila, introvert sila, okay? So naiintindihan naman natin that it takes time for the individual to really conquer the fears, no? The giant within all of us. Pero, yun nga, because we're human being, we're really expected to participate, okay? Take the challenge, no? Take that leap of faith that you can. Yung iba naman, may mga trauma kasi tinawanan ng kaklase, uy, mali yung answer mo, uy, engot to, ba't ganyan yung sagot niya? Wala sa out of coverage area, no? Maigi pa yung sun cellular at saka yung globe, pati yung smart, no? Kaya direct line. Kung sa kanya out of coverage, no? Ganyan. Kasi mga estudyante kami, may mga ganun eh. May mga ganung side comment. Pero anyway, regardless of whether it's wrong or not, at least you're able to spill the beans. Pero syempre, the next time around, would you still want to be their topic of, laughter? Hindi na, di ba? That will be your learning experience that the next time you answer, I'm going to listen to my teacher. Okay, I'm going to listen to get the details. I would like to remind the following people, no? Kanina, sinabihan ko yung BSETLE 11 na kung tapos na kayo, kasi itong mga to, wala pa talaga sila, no? Okay, so the 45 people were able to hand it in. May isang estudyante kanina, may sagot siya, naka-assign, pero hindi niya hinanded in. Kaya kitang-kita dito yung kanyang composition. So in the case of the 7 individual, no, please, okay, I am, I wouldn't have to really mention their names, but out of the set of students, there are 7 who was not able to submit yet, okay? So, I am supposed to give you another sit work, but before that, no, it concerns about the diagramming, okay? But before this, I would like to really take this time, okay, to be on track, no, when it comes to our next liability for the day, okay? So, I don't have to really expound so much about communication, no, pero babalikan natin ito, no, kasi medyo mahaba itong topic about structure. Babalikan natin yung review the nature of communication and business communication, okay? Once we hit week 3 to 5 introduction to technical writing, okay? So I have prepared here, no, okay, a slide, no, for business letter writing, which do holds, no, okay, the one that I'm telling you. So, according to Donald Graves, o sige na nga lang, ano na lang natin, pahapiwan na lang natin para hindi masayang ang ating oras. Ma'am, may sinasabi nyo na eh. Tapos ngayon, bigla nyo naman kaming iipitin. Okay. Sabi ni Donald Graves, sige, tawag tayo ng participant. Okay. Any volunteer? Para hindi kayo mailibing, sabi ni Donald Graves, no, sa karimlan ng kawalang. Yes?
Ako.
Surname, please. Yes, go ahead. What's your surname? I could not see your name because I've shared the screen.
Leonardo.
Leonte?
Voice is Leonardo.
Okay, Leonardo, go ahead.
Voice is the imprint of ourselves in our writing. Take the voice away and there's no writing. Just words following words.
Okay. So business communication, as you have heard earlier, concerns about letter writing. But as I keep on reiterating, it's not only about letter writing, it's about building your sense of competency, communicative and grammatical, okay? Communicative competency and grammatical competency in terms of communication. So when we say communicative competence, that encompasses your ability to speak, to listen, okay? To watch, no? Okay? To view things, no? And then when we talk about of grammatical competence, no, so this has your familiarity and mastery of the basic in terms of, stitching your sentences with the part of speech and of course, the notion of the grammar rules, subject-verb agreement, choice of proper pronoun referencing, and use of punctuation marks. So, when we talk about of writing, dun sa ating preparatory part ng IM, nakalagay doon that writing falls under non-verbal or verbal communication. Oh, sige nga, natatandaan niyo ba? There are two types of, what do you call this one? Two types of communication, verbal and non-verbal com, di ba? Where does writing falls?
Non-verbal.
Verbal or non-verbal?
Non-verbal,
Non-verbal po,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Non-verbal. So it's not under verbal. Are
Yes
you
po.
are you answering me on the basis of how you understand it or based on what you have read? Is writing verbal or falls under verbal or non-verbal ko? Wait. Ay, bakit nag-whiteboard ako? Verbal or non-verbal? Why? Nagbasa ba kayo ng IM? How do we understand verbal communication? What makes verbal com different from non-verbal com? Huwag na kayo mag-type sa Google. Kayo naman, no? Type na tumato sa Google. Experience-wise, no? Okay? Ano ba ang difference ng isang verbal communication sa non-verbal com? Nandiyan yan sa IM ninyo. Uy! Communication.
Verbal is using different words.
Ma'am, can I?
Miss Leonardo?
Ma'am, verbal is to speak.
Sino?
Verbal communication.
Go ahead, Leonardo, before we give the floor to another classmate of yours.
Verbal communication is more often spoken, unlike non-verbal, which is more seen in body language.
Napuputo ba si Leonardo o yung connection ko napuputol?
And
Naglalag po si Leonardo, ma'am.
Okay. I think what she's trying to say again,
But okay.
Alessandra.
is more words.
Okay, Alessandra, you were saying that non-verbal
Yes po, ma'am.
communication is
Non-verbal communication focuses more on body language.
whereas verbal com,
Meanwhile, verbal communication is more often spoken and in form of words.
okay, thank you very much. Now, do you want to add more to the words of Miss Leonardo? Do you agree with her?
Yes.
If you do,
Yes, ma'am.
Another answer.
Justin, Anore, Mr. Anore, what else would you like to add?
Ano po, ma'am, written communication is also a form of verbal communication.
What do you mean
Both
by
verbal and non-verbal.
is also a form? We have to choose do we have to bring the written com under verbal or non-verbal?
Ano po, ma'am, both verbal and non-verbal communication can be spoken.
So
And
for you,
written.
as per your assessment, where are we supposed to really place written communication? Should it be under verbal com or non-verbal communication? You just have to choose, Mr. Anore, and explain.
Non-verbal.
Why?
Katulad po ng sinabi ni Leonardo, yung verbal po is technically speaking and magpo-fall over po yung non-verbal sa writing and sign languages and other form of.
Okay, so we've heard
Yeah.
two voices now. Okay, Galang had typed for me